Please give a warm Lewiston and Western New York welcome to our beloved President of the United States, Mr. James Madison. Mr. President.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the conduct of the government of Great Britain has presented a series of acts hostile to the United States as an independent and neutral nation. British cruisers have been in the continued practice of violating the American flag on the great highway of nations and seizing and carrying off persons sailing under it, not in the exercise of a belligerent right founded on the law of nations against an enemy, but as a municipal prerogative over British subjects. Thousands of American citizens, under the safeguard of public law and their national flag, have been torn from their country and from everything dear to them, have been dragged on board ships of war of a foreign nation and exposed under the severities of their discipline to be exiled to the most distant and deadly climes, to risk their lives in the battles of their oppressors. Against this crying enormity which Great Britain would be so prompt to avenge if committed against itself, the United States have in vain exhausted remonstrances and expostulations without effect. British cruisers have been in the practice also of violating the rights and the peace of our coasts. They hover over and harass our entering and departing commerce. To the most insulting pretensions, they have added the most lawless proceedings in our very harbors, and have wantonly spilt American blood. Our commerce has been plundered in every sea. The great staples of our country have been cut off from their legitimate markets, and a destructive blow aimed at our agricultural and maritime interests. It has become indeed sufficiently certain that the commerce of the United States is to be sacrificed, not as interfering with the belligerent rights of Great Britain, not as supplying the wants of her enemies, which she herself supplies, but as interfering with the monopoly which she covets for her own commerce and navigation. In reviewing the conduct of Great Britain towards the United States, our attention is necessarily drawn to the warfare just renewed by the savages on one of our extensive frontiers. A warfare which is known to spare neither age nor sex, and to be distinguished by features peculiarly shocking to humanity. Such is the spectacle of injuries and indignities which have been heaped on our country, and such the crisis which its forbearance and conciliatory efforts have not been able to avert. We behold our seafaring citizens still the daily victims of lawless violence committed on the great and common highway of nations, even within sight of the country which owes them protection. We behold our vessels freighted with the product of our soil and industry, or returning with the honest proceeds of them, wrested from their lawful destination, confiscated through the instruments of arbitrary edicts, their unfortunate crews dispersed and lost or forced or invade in British ports into British fleets, whilst arguments are employed in support of these aggressions which have no foundation, as does not their claim to regulate our external commerce in all cases whatsoever. The United States shall no longer continue passive under these progressive usurpations and these accumulating wrongs, but must oppose force to force in defense of our national rights. And I now therefore entreat our brave and dedicated soldiers across our great nation to exact redress for these many grievances. May God protect you. Thank you.